Now the next verse says, Mary nodded. What an example. I believe that she is relating to this little drummer boy because she was just a poor little girl when an angel appeared to her and said, "You're favored of God." All she had done was the best she could in her life, and she was chosen as someone who was favored of God. And then he comes up with this elaborate story of how the Holy Spirit was going to come upon her and she was going to conceive. And she was going to be the person who got to kiss the face of God. She's going to have the Son of God. Can you imagine, just as a byline here, I love my little nephew. He's just the coolest little dude. And you can't help but kiss babies. I mean, some of you don't like babies. I don't think Jonathan Dowd has ever held one in his life.
He will.
But he's going to have to eventually. Man, when I got him, it's just, I got to put my lip, it's just like, oh. And if you were married, can you imagine knowing what happened to you when you had this baby? You know, she had to know that this was what the angel had spoken to her because she didn't have relations with the man until she had the baby. And she kissed him all the time. And she was kissing the face of God. How incredible would that have been? But she said in Luke 1:38, "Behold the handmaid of the Lord. Be it unto me according to thy word." What an example. She says, "I understand." She had her reputation that she gave. She was willing to give the man that she was betrothed to, if that's what it took. She was willing to give everything that she had. And then we stand as a little drummer boy before the baby, or before the Lord, with only our drum and our drum beat to give. And she relates. And she nods and says, yeah, that's a good thing to do. The next line is, the ox and the lamb kept time. I bet you're wondering, how in the world is he going to bring application with this? Part of what Jesus came to do, we sing Joy to the World, and one of my favorite verses is the one that hardly any of you have learned yet. No more let sin and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground, because he comes to make his blessings flow far as the curse is found. Romans chapter 8 says that creation was subjected to futility and is anticipating the manifestation of the sons of God. And all creation travails and groans together until we manifest ourselves as the sons of God, and then it will be released. The curse that God placed on the ground when Adam sinned will be broken when we become manifest sons and daughters of God. And when we play our drum for Him, when what He has given to us, what our gifts and our callings are used for Him, we will manifest as sons and daughters of God everywhere we are, and creation will be released. When we get in line with His will for our life, He has put it in order that creation helps us accomplish what He wants us to do. The little drummer boy needed somebody to keep time for him. Apparently, he didn't have a metronome to keep the time for him. And the creation helped him. The ox and the lamb kept time for him. Creation can be released. Jesus was the first manifested Son of God. And I'm going to tell you, creation helped Him get from one side of the lake to the other side of the lake. Jesus walked in His calling, and Jesus could walk on water. A man was blind. Creation helped him heal that man. He spat upon the ground and made mud and put it on the guy's eyes. and he told him to go wash in a pool. His spittle, dirt, and water from a pool helped a guy receive his sight. Creation will help us accomplish what we need to do if we open ourselves up and use our drums for the Lord. And this is where, if I were to sing this song, I would have broken down crying. I played my drum for Him. Whatever you have, give it. The little drummer boy is saying, I gave what I had. But not just that. I played my best for Him. You can go to work and you can play your drum. You can come to church and you can play your drum. You can go to the volleyball game and you can play your drum. Or you can go to all those places and you can play your drum the best you can play it. I want this to be my testimony. I played my best for Him. And then I just would have gotten choked up and not been able to keep going. Because then He smiled at me. Back to the parable of the talents. The one that came back and had made something from what he had given them. He had these words, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful in a few things. I will make you ruler over many. In the song, he is receiving the worship of the little drummer boy. No mention is made of the gifts and the offerings that the kings made in this song. The mention is made of what the little drummer boy gave, because he, like the widow, gave everything he had. He didn't just smile at me. He smiled at me and my drum. The blessing is on us and on our gift. 2 Corinthians 4:7 says we have this treasure in earthen vessels. He has given each of us something from the treasury of heaven. He has deposited it within us. We all have the right to not use it. We all have the right to use it half-heartedly if we use it at all. And we all have the right and the ability to use it to the best that we can. But we all have something. We all have a drum. And we all have a rum pum pum pum. We all have a drum beat. So during this holiday season of gift giving and New Year's resolutions, don't forget the reason for the season. God gave His best to us. We should give our best back to Him. God bless you.
Silent night, oh.